Hello, everyone. My name's Sophia.
My name's Anna.
And for our project, we decided to look into identifying affordable, nutritious food all within a 1 mile radius of the UW campus to make sure that it was easily accessible for all students. And we decided to pick the most popular cuisines around the area and then divide it into three restaurants and then the most popular dishes for those cuisines. And then we used some criteria to narrow down to the dishes.
So the first one was nutritional value. So we looked at just according to all of the ingredients that were listed, the balance of macronutrients, portion size, and the presence of vegetables or lean proteins.
The next category was flavor, and we used a couple different criteria for this. We used our own like personal experience with the restaurants and dishes, but we also used a lot of reviews from the restaurants, and that's how we were able to narrow it down.
We also looked at price. As we all know, a lot of students, and especially UW students, because Seattle is super expensive, are on a budget. So we made sure to look, or we at least prioritized meals under $10 to $20 or within that range.
And then our last kind of criteria was the overall value. So this combined the quality, the portion size, and the price to determine the overall value and why you should visit these restaurants and have these meals as a student at UW.
So the four cuisines that we chose were Indian food, pizza, Mexican food, and Asian food. Um, and we chose some popular restaurants from each cuisine. And some of the restaurants, it was the most popular meal that we chose. And then some of it was kind of like an average sized meal, kind of just depended on the place. So the first category was Indian food. So for the first restaurant, I chose Nonstop. At least to me, it seems like it's kind of a more modern restaurant. It seems to be pretty new, but it serves Indian street food for really cheap, reasonable prices. The average price of a meal was about $10 to $11, which especially in Seattle, is pretty reasonable. They also have a lot of vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free options, and we're really proud on their website about their fully accessible building that's accessible by wheelchair. The second place, what that I've personally been to with a bunch of times, is Chile's South Indian cuisine. The flavor is awesome. They are also really open to like group reservations, so it's kind of a fun social thing to do as well. The prices are kind of expensive. They run about $20 each for a plate. But if you do have extra change to spare, it is pretty delicious in my opinion. And then the last one was Jewel of India. The prices are about $20 per meal, although the one that we'll talk about later that I chose to write about was the most popular meal. I wouldn't say it's necessarily enough for one person. It's about $10. On average, their meals are about $20. But the flavors are great, and they have multiple options for various diets, including vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free, halal, and Jain-friendly meals. And the meals are large enough that I think maybe they could last a couple days or they could be shared. Um, but if you're pretty hungry, I think it's probably just enough for one person.
And then
Sorry. The
yes,
next one was pizza. Um, so the first one that I chose to write about was Domino's. Everyone's, at least I think a lot of people are familiar with Domino's. It's a chain restaurant, it's fast food, it's super popular. Um, in my opinion, it gets a 10 um, for just the flavor in and of itself. They have a lot of deals. So even if something looks like it's kind of on the more expensive side, they usually have a lot of coupons. They have a lot of good rewards, I've found. So um, yeah, it got a 9 because um, it is it is fast food. It's not super nutritious, but it is really good. And it's easy, cheap. Um, and then the second one was Mod. I think that they're reasonably priced. I would knock it down a couple points just for the flavor. Um, and I mean, another upside of it is they do offer other types of more nutritious foods. So you could get like a salad on the side or something like that just to like add on extra nutrition. A lot of their pizzas are more like flat crust. So even from like a carbohydrate perspective, you wouldn't really be getting a lot of nutrition there. But they also do like a make your own type of pizza deal thing. That's pretty popular. And then the last place that I chose was Pizza Twist. This is one that I had never previously heard of, but they have tons and tons of different options. Um, and they have, I mean, just even from the flavor perspective, but they also have options for different types of diets, including plant-based, gluten-free, and halal options. And then, yeah, they have tons of different food options. They have salads, pizza, deep dish, and then lots of other food items. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this place.
The next place that we looked at was specifically Hispanic food. The first place is very close to the Ave or to campus. It's called Taqueria Entrada and Salida. It's very quick, kind of like street tacos, burritos, food. It's also very well priced. It's about 3.25 a taco, so you could definitely get a full meal. I feel like on a budget. So this got a 9 because the flavors were good, the reviews were good, and as well as the pricing. The next place is called El Camion, which is also around a mile within the campus, radius of campus. And this is actually rated like some of the best Mexican food and specifically street tacos in Seattle. So I think this really got rated high because of that. The reviews were great and also is pretty affordable. Like you're able to get probably a pretty good meal because again, you can get street tacos for like 4.75 and then their burritos run about 12 to 15. So you can get a pretty good meal for under $15 there. And then lastly is a little bit more of an expensive pick, but this is Agua Verde Cafe. Decided to add this in because it's really beautiful. It's right on the water, super close to campus. And like from personal experience, their flavor is really, really good. Their service is good, but again, you're looking at around $20 here for a meal, so it might not be the most cost-friendly option. So that's why I got docked down a few points. The next like dishes that I looked at was specifically Asian restaurants. This is like a personal favorite of mine, but this is called Little Thai. It's a Thai restaurant right on the Ave, right next to Starbucks. And I think they have really good Thai food and really well priced as well. The biggest thing I would recommend there is the all day combo because you get like three different dishes in one, all for under $14. And for nutrition wise as well, you get vegetables, protein, carbohydrates, and healthy fats as well. The next place we looked at was Fatan Brothers, which is just a popular pho spot. And I would say that this is like pretty good restaurant. It's like the flavors are there, it's filling, and you're able to get pho under $15. So it's always consistent, quick, and delicious. The next place we looked at, not exactly sure how to pronounce this, but XIAN noodles. They have really good flavor. The reviews were really good. And they honestly have really well-priced things. You can get a lot of small portions for under $10. Specifically, their pork buns were rated really high, and they go for around 7.50 for three. So I feel like you're able to get a pretty decent meal, for a good price there. And then next, we decided to rank the most popular meals at the restaurants. And so the next few slides are just the best meals, and we can run through these really quickly.
Awesome. So yeah, we already went over all of the different cuisines, but yeah, the most popular meal at Nonstop was the curry bowl. And it was a great source of protein and fat, a great source of carbohydrates, but it was pretty low in vegetables. If you've ever had like a tikka dish, it's kind of a lot of like, at least for these ones, it's kind of a lot of like heavy cream, and a good source of protein. It's always usually like there's naan or rice. It's delicious though. The flavor was great. You can also add green chilies on top. And then the price was great. It was $11. A great portion size for one person. So I gave that like a 9 out of 10. The only thing that I docked it on was that it was kind of low in vegetables. The next one was Chili's South Indian cuisine, and I chose the Mizore masala dosa. This is one of the most popular items here, but this was kind of the one I talked about earlier, where it is pretty popular, but it's more of kind of an appetizer side kind of dish. I would give it a moderate rating on the nutrition. It has a great source of carbohydrates and a moderate source of protein. It comes with like a lentil soup on the side, and chutney. So it has vegetables, proteins in there, but it's kind of like a smaller side of those lentils and the chutney. Flavor is awesome, super delicious, strong flavor, and they combine a lot of different textures in it with like the crispy dosa. I think that's the right word for that. But then the chutney and the lentil soup. And then the price, it was 10.99 for that. But like I said, it was more of an appetizer. Their man meals are usually about $20. Um, and yeah, so that's why I docked it down a couple of points and I give it an 8 out of 10. Still would highly recommend if you have extra change to spare for their more filling portions. And then the last one, Jewel of Indian, I know, Jewel of India. I know, or I've heard it's not a super authentic Indian meal, but it was one of their most popular meals. It was the chicken tikka masala, which is one of my personal favorites. It's a great source of protein, fat, and carbohydrates, but again, it's kind of low on those vegetables. The flavor is awesome. I searched on several different websites, um, and all of them had tons of ratings on this meal, and it was super highly rated. One order is about 18.99, which is a little bit high, especially for one person. Um, and I would say the value for that much money, I wouldn't say it's necessarily worth it, just for me personally. But yeah, kind of like the other one, if you have some extra money to spare, it's worth a try, I think. And then the next one was pizza. So the first one, like I said earlier, was the Domino's pizza. One of the most popular ones was the buffalo chicken pizza. I would say it was kind of a moderate nutritional value. It's a good source of protein and carbohydrates, but again, it's kind of low on those vegetables, and especially healthy fats. There's a lot of like saturated fats, but not a lot of healthy ones. Flavor is amazing. Domino's just knocks it out of the park, I feel like, with so many of their items. Um, and then surprisingly, on the website, one medium-sized pizza was worth 18.99. I've never really spent that much at a Domino's ever. So I'm assuming that ordinarily it's not that much just because of all the coupons that you can use and all the rewards that members usually get. So I would say taking that into consideration, I would say it's a high value. Um, if it was 18.99 every single time, I wouldn't necessarily have the same answer. So yeah, I gave that one a 9 out of 10. And then the mod pizza one is like a Caspian, it's called the Caspian. It's kind of like a thin crust, so I would say it's kind of low on carbohydrates. I didn't have a ton of vegetables or healthy fats, but it is a great source of protein. I think it had both pepperoni and then like chicken. And it was like an all natural, I don't know, it was some kind of special chicken that they have there. Um, so yeah, the flavor, personally, thin crust isn't my favorite. I feel like it's too crunchy, but that's just my personal preference. But the other flavors mixed really well. It was like the barbecue sauce was like sweet and tangy, mixed with other savory elements like the cheese and the proteins and other proteins. The price was low. It was 12.99 for a medium-sized pizza, which I feel like is enough for one person. And then yeah, I would say the value is moderate to even high for the price. Even though the flavors are great. Needs help on the nutrition side, but it's pretty cheap. Um, and then the last one was Twisty's favorite pizza twist at Pizza Twist, which yeah, again, I've never really been to this, or I've never heard of this place before, but um, it was, yeah, it looked really good. it's a great source of multiple types of protein. It had lean protein, processed meat, etc., kind of like that other one I was talking about. Carbohydrates, and it had lots of fresh vegetables like mushrooms, bell peppers, flavors excellent. They have a really good crust and really good amount of cheese. Everything harmonizes really well together. Um, the price is actually pretty moderate. It might have been higher than the other ones, but a small pizza was worth $13.99, which is pretty good. So I would say the value is pretty high for this one, for what you're paying and then what you're getting. So I rated that a 9 out of 10.
The next meals I looked at was the Hispanic cuisine meals. At the Taqueria Entrada and Salida, the chorizo tacos were the most popular, and honestly, these were really excellently priced at $3.50 a taco. Offers a very budget-friendly meal. All of the reviews had said that it was really authentic Mexican flavors, good protein source, but it does have a little bit of high saturated fats and sodium due to the chorizo. I feel like the value is pretty moderate to high, so I gave the overall rating 9 to 10. It's made to order, has lots of generous filling, and you can customize your order. And I feel like you can get a pretty decent meal for a good amount of money. The next place was El Camion. The most popular thing there was the El Camion burrito. It's packed with protein-rich fillings like meat, beans, and rice, so I feel like it's really high nutritional value. The flavors, again, it's rated like some of the best Mexican food in Seattle. So I'd say the flavors are excellent, really authentic, and house-made salsas on the side. The price was also pretty good. This burrito's priced at $15.95, but I will say everybody says the portion is really big. So I think you could, it would definitely be enough for one person, or it could maybe even be two meals in one. Again, I rated this a 9 out of 10 because I feel like it's a good value for the price. Lastly was the Agua Verde Cafe. The most popular dishes were the Baja fish tacos. I've had these before and I really like them. The only downside is they are priced a little bit higher. Everything around here is going to be $15 to $20. So the price here is $17.25, but it does reflect like quality ingredients and the location of the restaurant. Again, the fish tacos have a lot of lean protein, fresh toppings, and vegetables. And so I would say that the overall rating is 8.5 out of 10. The next meals that I looked at was the Asian cuisines. Again, Little Thai's my favorite. I think the all-day combo is so worth it. It's priced at $13.95. You get a full meal, three dishes in one. You get rice, curry, pad thai, spring roll on the side. You have a balance of carbs, protein, vegetables. There is a little bit extra sodium and fat content there because of the curry and fried items. Lots of good flavors, and really substantial portion size. Like I'm usually able to be fully full off this meal or can even have leftovers. So my rating for this is a 10 out of 10. Next, I looked at Pho Tan Brothers. They specifically just specialize in pho, so you can get all kinds of different soups with different meats. I specifically looked at the pho ga, which is the pho with chicken. And this, again, rich in protein, chicken, nourishing broth. I'd say the nutritional value is really high here. Flavor is great. The price is pretty good as well. It's $13.90 for a small, but it's actually a pretty big portion, and I feel like it's a pretty hearty meal. And then I feel like for the value, it's pretty high. It includes cream puffs on the side, and it has generous portions. So overall rating 9 out of 10. And then lastly, I think it's Xi'an noodles. The most popular dish there was the pork buns. Nutritional value is moderate. It has a quite a bit of protein. However, the bun has adds quite a bit of carbohydrates. But the flavors were good, tender pork and a crispy bun. And then again, the price is really well. It's $7.50, making it a really budget-friendly option. I'd say it's like a small meal, but I'd still like say it's really worth the price. So my overall rating there was 8.5 out of 10. And I think that's it for our project. I hope you guys enjoyed it and are able to use this guide next time you're picking a meal near your district.
I'd say, yeah. And one more caveat that we were kind of discussing a little bit was that we noticed that it is kind of hard to find like a super cheap option.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, we hope that this guide can help you find something that's worth the money, and especially if you're looking for cheaper options, like Sophia just said. So
Yeah,
yeah, thanks
absolutely.
for listening.
Thank you.
All right.